Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa with Mel Inspirations, and today we are doing a little thrift flip. I found these items at the local Goodwill and I decided to do a little video on it because, for one, it has been a long time and I've been really itching to do some. So here's this lamp that I found. Really cool, very old looking. That really cool ceramic bottle or vase, and then this wooden tray, which I thought was absolutely adorable. And we're going to do some fun things with these. So at first glance, you know, it looks really old, very dusty, and it was only at $7.99, so it's not too bad for a lamp. And it even has this little bulb down here, which I ended up breaking, so we don't have that, but that's okay because I kind of didn't like it. We do have this little ceramic vase or milk jug or whatever you want to call it, and it was at $2.99. A pretty good deal in my opinion, and I just want to repaint it and make it look really cute. As much as I love that cow, I just wanted to do a little bit something different. And then this wooden tray, which of course, you know, we're going to repaint. The wood's really nice, but it does look really old and worn, and I just kind of want to do something a little bit more updated, and it was only at $1.99, so pretty excited about these deals. So I first want to start with this little milk jug, and as always with the thrift stores, with every project, clean. That is the most important part before you start. A lot of times these items have been there for quite a while, collecting dust. People have been touching them. You want to wipe off all that grime, especially if you're repainting. That way it can adhere and you can kind of see on that rag how dirty it was. And then I just kind of used the spray to take off the tags as well. So like I said, just clean and make sure that it is nice and cleaned. Alright, so here we're going to go ahead and start with this milk jug. I'm going to take some foil just to have as my little space to paint on. That way I don't get it all over the mat. And then I am going to be doing a base paint of white in Waverly chalk paint. I really like this particular paint because it does stick very well to like ceramics, anything that's shiny. So throughout this whole thrift flip, I'm going to be using the white paint as a base color for all three of these projects, and then we'll kind of make them a little bit different as we go. So with this jug, we're going to go ahead and cover the whole thing and then do this in 2 coats. It is the next day, and you can see that it's been covered pretty alright with the 2 coats, and it has more of that matte finish. So with this one, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I will be using Waverly Mineral chalk paint and kind of give it more of like a cement, almost pottery-esque look. So what I'm gonna do is gonna dab on some paint on there, just kind of spread it around, and then I'm going to take the rag, or you can use paper towel, whichever you prefer, and just kind of wipe off the excess of that mineral paint. And then you obviously use any color that you would like, but what this is going to do is going to kind of wash it off and give it that aged look and kind of make it look more like concrete. So this is how it looks after it's dried. It does have more of a concrete finish, and I did decide to use this ribbon, the buffalo check, and I did get that from Dollar Tree. I was also looking at the burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree, but I just didn't like how muted it was. I do like more of that contrast of the buffalo check. So once I decided to go with that, I just cut it to size and then used crazy glue to tie it down. My hot glue gun was not working at the time, so it was still charging, so I just couldn't wait any longer, and I just wanted to go ahead and use the crazy glue. I wanted to use these bouquet of pine cones and cotton buds from Dollar Tree, and I got these I believe last year, but I think they still have them every year, or they have some different variations of them this year. Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and bend the stems so that way they can fit into the vase, and just tuck them in there and just fix them up to make them look nice. As a last minute decision, I wanted to make a little twine bow. What I did was wrap the twine a couple dozen times around my fingers, and then once I got it to the right thickness, I just used the excess string and just kind of tied it in the middle, and then you made yourself a little twine bow with lots of little loops, and I really like that look. And then from there I went ahead and tied it to the jar. And here we are with the lamp, and like I said earlier, I'm gonna do a base coat of white in the Waverly chalk paint, and then I'm gonna try to get into as much of the crevices as I can. I'm not gonna try to cover it 100% because I really don't mind where the darker points show. I did take off this bulb and this little swing thing. I didn't use that little part again because I was fine without having it. With this lamp, there's gonna be different layers of paint on here. As you'll see, it's gonna be more of a dry brushing technique, and that's gonna give it a lot of dimension and different colors on here. It is the next day, and I have 2 coats of white on here. And the first layer that we're going to be doing for the dry brushing is the color mineral. So you'll need to have a very scruffy brush for the dry brushing. And then what you'll need to do is just get a little bit of paint at the tip of the brush and dab some of it off, and then start ever so slightly brushing the edges of the design that kind of protrudes out. The point of dry brushing is to not wet the brush, hence dry brushing. What that's going to do is it's not going to give a lot of moisture to the paint, so that way it doesn't spread out quite as easily. So the drier the brush, the better it is in a way. You'll just have to do a lot of practicing. As you'll see here, just get some paint, dab it off, and then slowly going in circles, different directions, start doing the dry brushing and try to only get like the corners and edges of the designs. Alright, we're going to do the second layer of the dry brushing in Elephant, and it is quite a bit darker than the mineral that we were using, but I really like this, especially around the edges, because it does give it a lot more depth, as you'll see right here. So same thing, ever so slightly, start brushing onto the corners or the edges, and that way it does give it a lot more of that accent. The great thing about dry brushing is you could just put a little bit now, and if you want more of that darker effect, you can always layer and put more onto it as much as you need. I did add a little bit more darkness than I intended. I just really liked the way it looked, and it gave it more of an age antique look where it's been worn and used and been around for a very long time. And now we are on to our third layer of dry brushing, and it's going to be in the color Moss, one of my very favorite colors of green that I like to use for dry brushing. This is just going to add a little bit more of that age, like a patina look, almost mossy. I kind of imagine this lamp kind of being near the seaside where it's aged and there's moss because of the moisture in the air. So you can always add as much or as little as you'd like. If you add too much, you can always just wipe it off a little bit with your finger or with a towel or anything, and you can get that fixed up. But you can kind of see how it just gives it a little bit more of depth with that green color. And this is the last layer that we're going to be adding, and it's going to be just the slightest bit of gold accents. You know me, I love my gold. It's just a gold paint that I bought from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to be using a fan brush just so I can have a little bit more control, because this particular paint, it is a little bit more thicker. So again, same thing, just ever so gently going onto the corners, and then just kind of where I would like the gold to shine. And I just love how in the end it really kind of gives it more of that shininess. There's something magical about how the gold just kind of blends in with all the other colors, and it just really pops nicely. And now we are on to the very last project, and this is probably the easiest one out of the three. All you're gonna do is add 2 coats of the white, and then we're gonna go ahead and do a very heavy distressing. Here I thought I was gonna leave the bottom ledge of the basket its original brown color, but I just wasn't too crazy about it. I did end up painting it over and then just really did a really heavy distressing. That way the color still shone through against the white, and I really love how it looked in the end.
I'm slowly, I think I'm crazy. I think it's crazy. Think I'm slowly, I think I'm crazy. I think it's crazy. Think I'm slowly, I think I'm crazy. I think it's crazy.
Here we are again on the next day with the 2 coats of the white paint, and now it's time to distress, and it's pretty easy. I just use a sandpaper at 150 and just kind of got all the corners that I could, and just try to distress as much as I can to really show that wood, because I really liked how that wood went against that white. So basically I just went around the corners, on the bottom, around the little handles, and kind of did a little bit of distressing on the longer sides, just to kind of show off a little bit of that design that got a little lost when I painted it. These are the finished results, and I could not be happier with how every single item had turned out. And I love how they still kind of all go together. As you see, I am trying to decorate a little bit for fall with that little fox from Dollar Tree. The little milk jar looks amazing with that little tray. It fits together all perfectly. And that lamp, I really like it. Now the shade on the lamp, as you'll see, it's a little bit too small. It's not quite long enough for the actual shade. That'll be fixed later on. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up. Please join my little family if you want to see more crafts and more hauls and things like that. And I would love to see you guys, and hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye.